Hi everyone, how's it going? Lauren here. Thank you for tuning into my channel. This is my bedroom. Thank you for being in my bedroom with me. We are just, seeing which room we like to film in best. If you see movement below me, it is my cat. My Savannah kitty is relaxing right here. I would show you, but I don't have any pants on. So, and it's not this kind of film, guys. I'm gonna stop being weird now. So today we're gonna do a book haul. I've never done a book haul before. I've never recorded a book haul before. I have, in fact, hauled a ton of books, but it just seemed like an appropriate time. Of course, if I quarantine book haul, that would take us like all day to go over. I can't even fathom the amount of books that are now on my shelf that were not before. Can you hear that? Do you hear that crazy loud bird or cicada or whatever it is? I'm not too familiar with nature, guys. So let's just get started. The first one is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. So I've seen this book literally everywhere. It is a young adult fantasy. It's probably one of my least read genres. So I decided to give this one a try. I don't exactly know what it's about. So for some of these, I totally read the summary so I could actually give you more information so I didn't look like such a moron, but not all of them. So this one I'm kind of leaving to surprise because I know a lot of people will be like, oh yeah, of course. So Court of Thorns and Roses. And plus I was a part of the Bookish box community for a couple months and I accidentally subscribed to the YA box. So, sorry, I dyed my hair yesterday so it's really clean, which means it's really flat. Anyway, so I accidentally subscribed to the YA box, so I have a ton of this swag, and it means nothing to me right now. So I'm trying to like get an idea of what all this stuff is. Cool. The Three-Body Problem by Liu Zhijin. I looked up how to say the author's name, and everyone said it different, but I think that's what I gathered. Anyway, so this is a super duper popular sci-fi novel in China, and this is like the first English translation. So as far as I can tell, it's just this huge, epic, a secret military project sends up signals to space to try and contact the aliens, and the aliens in fact respond. Their civilization is dying, so they decide to go take over Earth. And as far as I can tell, it's just, and then of course the Earth, like it will, if this happens, is divided into two camps. Those that aggressively want to welcome the aliens and those that are like, no, thank you. So it's just the unfolding there. I don't read sci-fi, so I'm super duper pumped on this. I hope it just changes me and I just start gobbling up sci-fi. The next bit is going to be the dollar book haul stuff. So we have, to start, Ken Follett, Pillars of Earth. I don't really know what this is about because it doesn't say anything on the back. It just says like it's this grand, sweeping, historical journey that touches all human emotions. Like, oh my gosh. I think I started this years ago, but someone had told me it was pretty boring and not great, so I just kind of had that going into it, so I gave it up pretty quickly. But since then, a ton of people I respect have highly recommended it, so I'm super excited to give it another try. And I think it's what, a trilogy, a 4Zs, a 5Zs? Yeah. The next one is I, Elizabeth by Rosalind Miles. There's always a siren in my neighborhood. Please hold. Kitty didn't even wake up though. He's super sleeping. I wish he would come say hi. I feel like I need to sit up straighter. Guys, I think the siren's just about done. Okay. Bang! Elizabeth I by Rosalind Miles. It's gonna be great. I'm going to learn about her so aggressively, about the world she created, about all her trials and tribulations, the good with the bad. I read a book about Marie Antoinette earlier this year, and it was probably one of my top books of the year. And it's just so fascinating to read about royalty, especially like older royalty in books like this where they're so steeped in facts, but they're essentially historical fiction in a way. So, hyped. The next book is... sorry, Katie, is Jane Austen, Persuasion. So this will, when I read it, be the second Jane Austen I've ever read. Of course, I've read Pride and Prejudice. And this is also the last novel she wrote. So from what I read, it is about a woman who is very well-to-do. She's birth, beauty, brains, and a man courts her that can only essentially offer her love, which gross. And so she denies him, and then she finds him 7 years later. So I don't know if it's romantic. Well, I'm sure it's romantic. But I don't know if it's funny, if it's serious, if it's tragic, if it's... I don't know. So we'll see. The next book is Death Comes to Pemberley by P.D. James. So this one just intrigues me. So first of all, look at the author. She's adorable. So this is a sequel to Pride and Prejudice, is kind of how it's touted, which, again, very intriguing. So I guess 7 years after Pride and Prejudice takes place, Elizabeth and Darcy are like living their best life. And then one night they're having a dinner party, and Elizabeth's estranged sister Lydia, who's not allowed on the property at all, runs into the room screaming. So there's the whole murder mystery vibe for you. Yeah, I'm excited. And so what I want to do is I'm going to read Pride and Prejudice first, and then I'm going to immediately follow it with this. I think that would just be kind of a cool little duo thing. And it will be interesting to see how the writing styles mimic each other. Or I should say how she mimics Jane Austen, right? Forgot the author's name for a second. How she mimics Jane Austen. So, yeah. The next book, this is something... So this Love Walked In by Marissa de los Santos. This will be a reread for me, but I don't remember it. What I do remember is being like smitten with the male character, like smitten with it. And I remember just loving the novel. So I don't remember what it's about. I didn't want to look it up, but I'm really, really excited about it. The next one is Adam and Eve by Sina Jeter Naslund. I'm hoping I said all those right. So she actually wrote the book that I was talking about earlier, the Marie Antoinette book called Abundance. So I already love her style. I love her writing. I love her attention to detail. And this one will be interesting because it's not steeped in any sort of history. So Tom, he's an astrophysicist. He dies under suspicious circumstances. But before he does, he discovers extraterrestrial life. And he trusts no one but his wife with that information. So he gives his wife the flash drive with the information on it. And then it just sounds like it gets crazy. Like she gets called to Egypt to help out one of her husband's friends to move an artifact. And while she's doing that, her plane crashes. And a man nurses her, and they kind of, I don't know. But I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be epic. And the Adam and Eve thing comes with her and the man. They kind of end up on an island, and it's very Garden of Eden-like. And then they unfortunately have to go back to civilization. Which isn't that always the case? Ugh, if only. Yay. The next book is Lauren Groff's Arcadia. First of all, look how gorgeous that cover is. Hi, baby. He woke up just to move. So I read earlier this year Fates and Furies by Lauren Groff, and I really enjoyed her writing style. There was a lot of poetry in her prose. I believe it's called purple prose. Looking forward to this. So it sounds, from what I gathered, so it's kind of a story. So in the 1970s, a group of idealists they went to an abandoned mansion in New York, and they turned it into a commune. So I think it's just going to follow a couple of their characters, and also one boy, his name is Bit, B-I-T, he was born on the commune. So I think it also follows him struggling with how can I be my own man, and how can I discover who I truly am when I'm in this commune with these same people. Even though I love them, how am I going to grow? So I think it's a bit of a coming-of-age tale as well. Yeah. Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. I talked about this in my last video as well because I have read it. Yeah, just a fun, I thought it was fun. I've recommended it and they've hated it, but I thought it was fun. So it's just a really twisted story. Of course, a psychological thriller. This woman, Camilla, she's a reporter, and she has to go back to her hometown because there's been a string of murders. Young teenage girls were being murdered. So, of course, that's already pretty messed up. But then you meet her mother, who's wild, her half-sister, who's wild, and she's got a ton of issues of her own. So it's just this whole twisted amalgamation of humans in the South. Pretty interesting. I enjoyed it. I read it in like 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. So if you want something quick, it would be a really good summer read, to be honest. Yep. The next book I've also read, so The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. This was my first completed novel in August. This was, so my dear friend Skylar, he's one of my oldest friends, and we've recently, sorry, my hair, and we've reconnected over quarantine because we are now in the same state, which we haven't been in years. So we've been just talking books like crazy. So anyway, this came highly recommended from him. He actually bought it for me. And it is, without a doubt, one of the most stunning novels I've read. 5 stars. If I could give it 1,000, I would. It's one of 4 or 5 books, I believe. So it's not that the characters stay throughout the entire series, but the land, or the cemetery of books, right? The cemetery of books. It's a really important setting in this one that stays consistent. So with this book, so our main guy, it takes place in Barcelona, and it starts in 1945. So our main boy, Daniel, he discovers this book called The Shadow of the Wind by Julian Carricks in this bookstore. His father finally takes him there. And this book like touches him so aggressively that he immediately starts hunting for all the author's other books. It has everything. It has romance, murder, mystery, intrigue, bad guys, good guys, villains, you know. All I'll say about it is it's beautiful. Yeah, you're gonna want to take your time with this book, and once you read it and you get all the answers to your questions, you're gonna want to go back and reread it, because the Easter eggs that I know that the author left through it, I'm just so excited. So I'm gonna give this one a while to kind of settle, and as we all know, I have a ton of books to get through, but then I'm gonna go back and reread it. Yeah, so Shadow of the Wind, 5 stars, gorgeous. The next pile, these are all books that Skylar heartily recommended to me, so I just went and I just bought them without even thinking. So the first one is Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides, and from what I've read, I don't know a ton about these books. I just know that a person I love recommended them aggressively, so I said absolutely. So from what I read, it's a story about she's born Callie, and then throughout her self-discovery, she becomes Cal. So Middlesex kind of gives you an idea of what the story is about. And I think it's just going to be a real coming-of-age tale about this person truly realizing, you know, who they're meant to be. So, Pulitzer Prize, by the way. The next one, The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, also a Pulitzer Prize by Michael Chabon. I read one of his books eons ago, and I think I was just too young for it. I think the language was probably too intelligent for me, so I'm looking forward to giving him another go. And this story is about this Joe Cavalier. He is a magician, it seems like, and he escapes from Nazi-invaded Prague, and he goes to New York, where his cousin Sammy Clay is. And it seems like they just kind of sort of fall into this really wonderful relationship where they, between their strengths, they write comic books, I think. Yeah? I don't know. I'm excited. It's gonna be beautiful. And then the last book I have is The Heart's Invisible Furies by John Boyne. Listen to that. Ugh, I do love a good hardback. So I don't know too much. I think I remember Skylar telling me that it was a really important novel because it was like one of the first really truly exploring the gay experience, I think. Yeah? Which is beautiful. And I'm super excited to read it. Yeah. I think it's kind of a finding yourself story. I don't know if it's sad. I don't know if it's happy. I assume it's probably going to be a little bit of both, you know, judging by what it's about. So we'll see. That is the book haul. Thank you for being here in my bedroom with me and my cat. I wish you could meet him. Without, oh, no. Oh, wow. Say hi. No. That's me without pants on, by the way. This is a onesie. And, you know, party on top. I guess I should say business on top, party on bottom. But if you have read any of these and you want to talk about them, please reach out to me. Hopefully there will be a couple of these on my August wrap up. Look for it. If you haven't subscribed already and you do want to be friends, please do. I'm pretty cool. I'm not terrible. And then Goodreads, Instagram, the whole shebang. Let's just get to know each other, man. Enjoy your day. It looks beautiful out. I know the tropical storm has been making its way through, but what's nice is it's been bringing cooler temperatures, at least here on the water. So I'm loving that. All right, I'm gonna go work out because I haven't done that in like a month. And I will catch you later. See ya.